Srishti, please proceed.
A very warm afternoon to our educator, sir, faculty coordinator, and participants. I am Srishti God, along with my teammate Shirin Khan, and here is a big welcome to our guest, Mr. Rohit Dubey. Sir is a graduate from The Christ University, Bangalore. Sir is also a company secretary. He is a senior advocate and associate at the Chambers of Senior Standing Counsel, Income Tax Department, Madhya Pradesh High Court. He is also a senior associate at JMVD and Company, an esteemed law firm of Indore. Today, we also have with us Assistant Professor Mr. Nakul Singh Chauhan, PIMR Department of Law. We welcome you, sir.
Okay. Arundhati, kindly proceed.
Good afternoon, one and all. I was given the topic to speak for the motion, which is free testing of COVID-19 in India justified? I would first of all, I would like to begin by telling that the government in India, there is a lot of disproportion. The wealth has been disproportionately distributed to the people in India, because of which there are a lot of poor people in India, below poverty line people in India, and everybody in this kind of a crisis should get the basic need. The basic need here is to get the health. I'm sorry, to get the health checked and tested. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, take your time.
So yeah, everybody has a right to get health, proper health and medication, and it's a basic fundamental right of each and every person in India. And government has to see to it that everybody is getting this. And
There is no need to be nervous. We are all friends here.
Yeah.
Okay, so there are the Ayush community from India, which works on the basis of Ayurveda, which checks the Ayurvedic medicines and everything. It has been trying to come up with a natural Ayurvedic medicine, which is going to build the immune in everybody, in the people of India. And this is actually going to help many people, and this requires basic roots and ingredients which are available easily. Hence this can be formulated easily, and the immunity in everybody can be built easily, which is not going to cost a lot of money. So there is no need for the government to worry about how it can cope up with how it can cope up with economy once the when there is a lot of free medication done to each and everybody. The India can easily cope up with economy because there are a lot of resources. So there is no need for the country to worry about the economy and think that people can they can pay for they can afford their health expenses. It is not actually the case. People are first before anything in a nation, in a democratic nation, be very precise. So it is really important for the government to look after its citizens here, and then think about the economy later. And also there are articles which say that medicines which can cure leprosy and leukemia can be given to people to to build the immunity in themselves. These can be actually given to people. This can be told in pharmaceuticals to without prescription. This can be given to people who want to actually build their immunity and fight against this COVID-19 even before it attacks them. So it's government can take up these actions, and it can help the people get out of the pandemic crisis. And there are articles which say that in the south, Bangalore and a few other states like Kerala, Karnataka and all are coping well, and there are the decreased rate in fertility rate. But still places in north like UP, MP, Bihar and all, there are a lot of people, because there are a lot of migrants going back to the country. They are going back and they are also spreading disease across. Rather, they can actually, government can, they are actually building places where migrants can stay, and they are taking care of the migrants. In this way, they can also actually give up free medicines to people, and they can protect them. I would like to say that this is a really good initiative of the government, by which it can give free medication and free testing to the people of our nation, and help the country get over this pandemic. Am I done?
Okay, Ranjati, your time is up. Yashaswini, you can proceed.
Okay, I'll just start with the count of 3, 2, 1, and then I'll request the timekeeper to begin with the time. 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm here to present my views against the motion that is, according to me, free medical testing of COVID-19 in India is not justified. So I would like to put forward 4 main arguments to support my stand of opposing the free medical testing. The first argument that I want to put forward is that of the heterogeneity within the economically weaker section of country. It is righteously observed that a significant size of our population is that of poor. But within that particular category of EWS, economically weaker section, we will have to consider that there is different level of poverty. People can be further subcategorized, and according to me, rather than going for a very generalized categorization of EWS and non-EWS, we should go for a specific categorization within the EWS category, and then charge people for the test according to their ability, according to their earning, the way we have it in case of taxation in our country. It is important because in this way, these people won't be facing any burden while paying for the test. And secondly, it will help in the sustenance of the government, of the economy, and as well as the private sector, private laboratories. This forms the base for the next 3 arguments I want to put forward. The second argument is the sustenance of the private laboratories. We will have to remember that government included private sector as a stakeholder with the objective of increasing the testing capacity of India. However, there's something that has to be remembered is that there is certain basic cost which the laboratories have to incur even when they sacrifice all their profits. And these costs have to be financed so that they remain functional. Unfortunately, the scenario is such that the government has yet not come with any concrete guideline for the reimbursement, for the immediate reimbursement for the free test. And the other conventional business of laboratory is facing a major setback because people are not coming for the other tests other than the COVID-19 one. So in this situation, even when a private laboratory has enough philanthropic approach and incentive, it cannot move forward because of the lack of finance. And this is what will bind it to withdraw, and the objective of the government will begin to frustrate. So this is the reason that I oppose the way free medical testing is being carried out. Now, moving to the next argument, there is an economic significance related to these, to the functioning of these private laboratories. We know that economy is suffering majorly right now. There are just few industries which can take the lead and support the economy in this circumstance, and healthcare industry is one of those. When we are going for a free medical testing in the way as it is being observed in India, what is happening is we are discouraging the private sector at a time when we need to encourage it more, at a time when we need to include it more into the mainstream. So this is something which is happening because of the way we are having the free medical testing being carried out. And other than that, these laboratories, when they have to withdraw, they have to also lay off the middle and the small income employees that are dependent on these laboratories. The last argument that I want to put forward is that if people will be paying according to their ability for this test, what is going to help the government is it will help it to cope up with the fiscal deficit. Already government is facing major fiscal deficit right now. Its revenue sources have shrunk badly. Its expenditure has increased exponentially. In this case, if we are making a little contribution, we will be able to sustain ourselves long in this fight. And that is what I feel is more important in the fight, that we have to be compassionate, but we will have to also give it a rational thought. And that is only possible when we go for the payment of testing in a progressive way, as has been proposed by me earlier. So with this, I would conclude emphatically that the free medical testing of COVID-19 in India is not justified. Thank you.
We'll move to rebuttals.
Okay, sir.
We'll start with Aditi, I think.
So may I just put forward my question for Arundhati?
One second. I think the person who was for the motion would be first person to have the rebuttal. So I think you are muted.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. The
Yeah.
person for the motion will be speaking first, and so Arundhati will speak for the motion first, and then you'll get the chance. Yashaswini, you'll get the second chance.
Yeah, I got it, ma'am. I was just asking that do I need to propose my question for Arundhati right now?
No, not right now. You can counter her arguments when it's your turn, Arundhati. Sorry, Yashaswini.
Okay, fine.
Can I start?
Yeah, you may start.
So Yashaswini here stated that private sector, when people are going for free medication, then private sectors are going to hit by the people because they're already going in loss. A few weeks ago, Supreme Court had said that private sectors and private hospitals, they are supposed to give free medication along with government hospitals, because there are only 150 government hospitals, and in a certain city, and private sectors are more. They will be earning a lot, but this is not the time when people can actually look at the money factor, or the how much is going to profit them in particular. Right now people are really important, and we can't just lose people just because we need money. So it doesn't really make that much of a sense to me when somebody is telling that private sectors are getting hit, so we will have to give priorities to the private sector. And right now our government has come up with a lot of ideas to cope up with this economy. They are coming with each and every day we are getting news on how the 20 lakh crore is being distributed to each and every sector, and we can actually wait for another 2 or 3 days and really hope that private sectors might be getting something. Industries have got, agriculture have got, and MSMEs have also got. Now we can actually really wait for a bit more longer and see how the government is going to cope up with it. We really can't afford to lose people right now. If we don't have people, then economy is not going to stand anywhere. So I would really stick to my point where and say that like Supreme Court said, the private sector should also concentrate on making its test and medication free for a few people or for everybody, and see to it how there will be a big change in the fatality rate, or how there will be a lot of changes in the changes in coping this disease right now. And yeah, I think I also covered the point where she said that there will be a lot of deficit. The income is being less, and the expense is a lot right now. Like I said earlier, in my point where I said that India can really make Ayurvedic medicines of its own, and they can also, when they are going good with it, when the immunity system in India is built properly, we can will obviously be a good example in the UN, and we can send those medicines to other countries, and make good money out of it. It's not a bad option. WHO has asked for 1 whole year for getting the vaccines done. It takes another whole year for WHO, wherein India is just asking for a few months, where it can get a proper vaccine, and everyone can be everyone can use it.
Shall I proceed now, sir?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, again, I'll begin at the count of 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. My respected competitor had mentioned in her speech that what we need to prioritize first is the medicine, and then comes the economy. I do support this argument that we need to prioritize medicine first and then comes the economy. But what we need to consider is that we are in a situation which is very uncertain. And so far, whatever the speculations have been made by the important organizations is that this is a crisis that is going to last long. Why I'm opposing the free medical testing in India, I emphasize in India, that is the way it is being carried out in India, because I feel it is not viable in the long run. It won't be feasible. Now, my respected opponent said that we can wait for the government to come up with the initiatives like it has come up in the sectors like MSMEs and agriculture, etc. We can definitely wait had it been any other sector. We can't wait in the healthcare sector. And I derive this point from your speech only, that we can't just keep the life of the people at stake. So private healthcare sector or even the government healthcare sector is not a sector that can be asked to wait right now. This is a sector we have to work most vigorously and rigorously at this point of time. Then my opponent just drew a point from my speech that this is no argument that private sector is getting hit and that's why we should oppose the free medical testing. I never mentioned to convey this, that this is the basic argument that the private sector is getting hit. We will have to understand that this is a fight that the government can't fight alone. It will have to include the private sector. And the circumstances which are right now regarding the free medical testing is such that the private sector is not able to withstand it because it is not getting finance. It is coming with philanthropic approach. That is really very much commendable that in this time the private firms have given away their profits. But my dear friend, we will have to understand that the cost that is incurred regarding the transportation charges, the PPE kits, the testing kits, it is considerable cost, and they will have to cover up at least that cost so that they can continue with their testing. And then my friend come up with a point that this is not the time for looking into profits. We are definitely not looking into profits, but what is my concern is that we should be able to continue with this testing process in the long run, and this is possible only through a strong public-private partnership. When though Honorable Supreme Court had directed the government to come up with the guidelines for the reimbursement of the private sector. This is a concern of the private sector because when it is coming in the fight with the government sector, it will need some basic finances, and when we want to involve more and more support for increasing the testing, we have to take care of the small laboratories as well that do not have enough savings to just back up on and just continue with the philanthropic approach. So if what all I want to just convey is that this way of free medical testing isn't good. We have to go for a progressive way of charging for the test, and this will not come as a burden for the people. It will help them sustain their health, and as well as it will also help the government, the private sector, everyone to sustain as a whole in the long run, and that is the issue, that being viable.
A point of information from your side?
Sorry?
Rohit sir?
Yeah.
Yeah. Point of information from your side? Any clarifications that you need?
So first question come feedback I'll give to the person who was for the motion. So what made you so nervous at the start? Like you in rebuttal, you were too aggressive and you pointed to all the ifs and buts of the scenario, but you were too nervous at the start. And secondly, one thing I noticed that you mentioned too much about the free medication and you stressed a lot on it. So it is a question as well as a feedback that how you can subsume a free medication into the question of free testing.
Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could you repeat your question? I'm so sorry.
Yeah. How the free medication thing can be subsumed under the policies made for free testing.
So I would just say that when there are these kinds of free medication given to everybody, people are going to volunteer. They're not going to sit in their houses scared or anything. And there will be a positive approach to people to come up and get themselves tested, no matter they have the disease or they have the symptoms of it or they just have the thought of it. They can come up and get themselves tested. There could be misuse of it, but then also there are chances that many people who have been who are tested negative can stay safe, and they can continue with the rules and regulations put forth by the government. And other people can be they can be hospitalized or medicated the right time before anything huge happens. Already in Bangalore there are a lot of cases. In Bangalore it was too much and then it dropped low, and now it's again gaining back a lot of fatality rates. There's a huge there is no stable rate or constant rate at which the people are coping up. So I would really suggest that when there is a free medication or when there is an announcement that people are everybody is going to get tested for free, then there will be a lot of people coming front and getting themselves tested, and yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah, I got your point. So my feedback is what you lost in your initial debate, you covered it up in your rebuttal. So it's okay. I'll now my question is to the person who was against the motion. Uh, so according to you, what would be the better option among the two scenarios I'm going to tell now? First being a public-private partnership in which the both are motivated towards providing free testing or subsidized testing, and another scenario in which the private enterprises are allowed to continue with their chargeable testing and the public enterprises focus on free testing to the employees under ESI or BPL category. So what would be the most appropriate option according to you? And also tell me, if you don't like both the option, what would be your substantiation?
So please repeat the second option.
Yeah, the second option would be if the public and private both work in this scenario, and private provide chargeable testing and the public aims at providing subsidized or free testing to the people under below poverty lines or the employees who have their ESI enrollment.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Just a second, I'm just telling.
Yeah.
I think that the public sector can continue with the free testing, but the thing is that they are already overburdened, and the rate at which the cases are rising and the need of testing is rising when we are talking about uplifting the lockdown gradually. We will have to we have to involve the private sector. So I believe that private sector should also continue with the free testing, but we will need, like I mentioned in the speech, in my speech, sir, that we will have to get into a more specific and concentrated way of providing this free testing, because there are certain limitations for private sector, and we cannot just remove the private sector from the scene in one go, because we need its help right now, both from the economic point of view and from the point of view of scaling the testing. So according to me, obviously public sector will have to prioritize, public sector will have to go for wholly go for the free testing, but when it comes to the private sector, we need to go for a very concentrated approach where it gets some basic payment. At least it should be able to cover up its cost, otherwise it cannot function. At least the smaller laboratories cannot function.
Being against the motion, then also you say that government should provide free testing and this answer.
So, like I would just want to raise very humbly, I would like to raise your attention towards the topic. It is the free medical testing in India. So considering the context of India, the free medical testing that is going on right now is what I am opposing.
Okay,
We can't just.
Level.
Pardon, sir?
You are covering it on a macro level to all enterprises.
Yeah, I'm covering it at a macro level, and this can never be a solution that just remove this provision of free medical testing in one go, because that will be needed considering the poverty in India. But it needs to be done in a better way. That is why I'm opposing the present scenario of free medical testing. Do I need to substantiate more, or it's my time? So
No,
okay, fine.
No, you're done. Now I request Professor Nakul Singh Chauhan to please proceed with the vote of thanks.
Before proceeding with the vote of thanks, I would require Rohit sir's permission to give my feedback also to the students. Sir, if you allow me.
Yes, sir. Sure.
Yeah, I would majorly like to talk to Arundhati, because what happened with you took me down the memory lane. The first debate that I ever participated in my life, I literally choked, and you still had the courage to, cover up, and eventually you got into a good flow. But with me, what happened was I was in class 11th, and it was a national debate competition, just like this one for IPSC schools, and I absolutely choked and I could not speak. But then the only way out is to keep participating in such events. Eventually, when I reached my post-graduation, I did my post-graduation from Indian Institute of Forest Management. So I ended up being in the Debaters Society, and I was also chairing the society in my final year. So eventually, in the last 7 or 8 debates that I participated, and never lost a debate. So you kind of reminded me of me. and my best wishes with you. There are a few points that you could have really used to your advantage uh, that I would like to, mention. One thing is that you should have at least stressed upon the fact that there should be free testing for people who are below the poverty line. At least that is the least that should happen, because there is one thing that you could have covered this fact with. People who are poor, they have a high population density. For example, in urban situations, the population density in the slums is very high. So people per square kilometer the number of people living per square kilometer is very high. You would know the case of Dharavi in Bombay right now. So Bombay is suffering very hugely with the crisis, and Dharavi as of now has over 1,060 cases. And Dharavi is supposed to be the second biggest slum in Asia. Okay, second biggest slum in the world, rather, if I'm not wrong. So the spread has increased because people, literally 5 people, 10 people, family are living in one room. So this is something that you could have focused upon. You could have mentioned the fact that if it should at least be made free for people who are below the poverty line. You could have also mentioned a very recent update which states that India is making its own PPE kits. The PPE kits that were costing 4,500 rupees in the past are now costing around 500 rupees only. So there is a significant fall in the cost of all the PPE kits, and we are making over 2 lakh PPE kits every day. That was the statement given by the Honorable Health Minister of our country. So you could have easily mentioned the fact that the burden on the private enterprises would have been very limited. And how you could have done it is, you could have just told your opponent that when was the last time you saw a hospital shut down. So there have been times in the past where the hospitals and the healthcare industries has made super profit, and now it is time for them to pay their debt to the society. Okay, so if the cost was 4,500 rupees per person, it would have been something which would have caused a lot of problems. But the healthcare industry has a lot of other avenues besides COVID-19. When COVID was not here, they were still making money. So that portion of their profit is still there. So you could have stressed upon that fact also. And I'm just telling all this to you because I did not have anybody to tell me all this when I really choked. I was really reprimanded by my teacher, and I was chucked out of my debate society in school. So I really want you to, grow, and it's all constructive criticism. You did a wonderful job. The way you came back was amazing. And Yashaswini, you were wonderful with your content. I'm glad that you mentioned the fiscal aspect, because in the debates that we've already attended, nobody has really touched upon the fiscal deficit that the country is going to face, because they've deferred all the tax payments, especially the income tax. People are supposed to pay it later on. Other taxes, because other payments are also deferred. For example, when you pay the fees of students, these payments are also deferred. So because of that, the tax element in all these payments is also not going to the government as of now, which will cause huge problems. And we are, taking loans. Very recently, WHO has granted us a loan of 1 billion. So when we get a loan, it comes with the interest repayment also, which becomes an additional burden on the economy, especially an economy like India, which is already in a debt of $500 billion. So great job, guys. And now I would like to thank Rohit sir again for being here with us and taking out his precious time to be here with us. I would also like to thank my student coordinators, the sponsors of the event, and especially the participants. I'm glad that you could take out time to participate in this event. Because it is something very different to do it on an online platform. But I'm sure that you might have ended up learning a few new things, if not a lot of things. So my best wishes to everybody, and I hope you be successful in life. My best wishes are with you. So have a nice day, guys.
Thank you, sir.